This Johnson 48 Special next to me here suffered an impeller failure. Now if you're not super familiar with boats and their components, they use a rubber impeller down in the lower unit that pumps water from the body of water that you're boating in up through the cooling system in the engine and then back into the lake. So you basically have an infinite radiator. So in theory you should never be able to overheat your boat, except if that impeller fails because it is made of rubber. It's constantly flexing in order to pump that water because it's driven by the engine, so it's spinning all the time, constantly flexing, and rubber ages and degrades and dry rots and cracks. That rubber can come apart and clog up your cooling system, so you could start having overheating issues because you're getting less flow because the rubber is deteriorating. You could replace the impeller and still have your cooling system plugged because of those rubber fins that have broken off. Now on this Johnson and a number of others, there's a super easy way to check because there's a spot that a lot of that rubber will tend to kind of all consolidate and get plugged up at. George is here to help, or fall off the boat, one or the other. So let me show you what we've got to do to find our missing pieces of that rubber impeller. First thing we're going to need to do is remove the cowl. With the cowl off, you may notice this big, obvious looking hex-headed cap at the very top of the cylinder head. And now that is a 13/16 socket, will fit on that. And this is the thermostat housing. So you can crack this loose and basically unscrew this housing. Now do be careful, there's a spring behind this along with a thermostat and an O-ring and some other little parts, so don't lose them. So there we have our cap with its O-ring and a spring. And looking into this hole, this is our thermostat, so we can just grab that out. And then if we look back in there, see all those rubber chunks? Yep, that could restrict our cooling flow and make our engine overheat either at idle or at higher speed, depending on how it's plugged and how bad it is. So what I'm going to do is take these really long needle nose pliers and reach back in here. Just grab these little rubber chunks out, one at a time. Now if you've already got the lower unit off, like I do for servicing the impeller, you could take a garden hose and just blast this with a little bit of water until it comes out the bottom here. That way you'll know you've got everything clear and it's flowing good. So any rubber that we've got in there, I've picked out with the needle nose pliers and flushed stuff through as well. So we'll give it a little extra flush just to be extra good. Make sure to check your thermostat because there could be little tidbits that are stuck on that as well. But I think we've got those clean now. So take our thermostat, install it back in there, along with our spring and cap. And just snug that down nice and snug. And now that's pretty much everything you need to know. If you've had an impeller failure, you can check there, back flush the system to get any of those rubber shavings and stuff out. And also, if you do need to change the thermostat, now you know where it is and you know how to change it. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Thanks for watching.